Welcome to the Daily Dev Talk with me, Adrian Nantchev, where we explore and share experiences, stories, and lessons 7 days a week from across the games industry, helping you make the best game you can. Stay tuned for today's episode. Good morning, Overload Nation. Welcome to another episode of the Daily Dev Talk, talking to game developers from across the world to bring you experiences, stories, and lessons 7 days a week. Today, I am joined with Alexis Bourdillat from YouMadBroom to talk about his game, Jade. Alexis, talk about yourself first, please, and how you got into the games industry.
First, it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm thanking you for inviting me. So my name is Alexis. I'm an indie French game developer. I live in Paris, and I actually studied to become a lawyer. I recently created a studio called YouMadBroom Studios, regrouping some friends, and my gaming experience is began quite long ago. While I discovered the PC and all the stuff you can share, like the very concept of sharing with the internet, it was quite a good thing, and that was very exciting. And I was a bit fascinated by artificial intelligences and coding, because it's like creating from some line, creating stuff, just drawing things, and it's pretty amazing. It's like when I was young, it was kind of like magic, and then I grew up, and in 2013, I finally created an account on GameJolt to start my home development, and that's why I came here, making a visual novel that had a little success on GameJolt.
I see. And what is it that stopped you from pursuing your intention to be a lawyer in the first place?
Uh, well, I never wanted to be like a game developer as I didn't want it as a job, more as a hobby, because I think that if I become a game developer as a job, it's gonna be like I think I'm gonna hate it at some point. So I think that I prefer being surrounded by technology and enjoying making games just in my free time, and pursue my kind of dream to become a lawyer.
Okay, cool. So tell me about your studio. How many people and what's
Well,
the structure?
YouMadBroom Studios was founded in early June 2015. It's composed of me and two other friends. We're all in Paris, so this is real friends, because we can't really recruit some people that aren't French, with a language barrier and the fact that we can't really see the people and reunite. We plan on making mostly visual novels, but maybe like other type of game. I don't know, 3D game, 2D game, platformers, shooters, and I think it's quite important to have a studio or team, because when you work alone, you have no other look on your work, and it really helps you to keep helps you to keep a cool head, like not going anywhere.
Oh, definitely, and to work with the people you know as well helps keep a cool head as well as regards to motivation and keeping on track.
Yeah, and when you work with people, you don't want to give up, because giving up the project would be giving up your coworkers, and that's quite a good circle.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So tell me about Jade and tell me about the game and what is it you want the
Uh,
player to
well,
experience?
well, at the very beginning, I didn't want the player to experience what he can experience with the actual game. Um, the problem is I created Jade in 1 year ago, and at the very beginning, it was supposed to be like something about um, let's say about like it was really like about love and growing love with someone you don't really know. But at the same time, it was like walking in someone else's shoes. I think it's kind of like what imports in a visual novel is that you see the world as the guy that made the visual novel sees the world, and it opens lots of new possibilities. So
Mm.
when I created it, it was well, it, it had been quite popular pretty fast, uh, but it wasn't what I wanted, and it turned um, it turned out to be really bad. From my point of view, it's really bad. The actual version is just I can't even describe it, and it's far from my original idea. So I really began to develop it for the community and not for myself. And that's something I really don't like. I like working for the community, but I want to make a game that I like and I like to develop.
Oh, definitely. When it comes to making games, if you, the developer, won't play the game you're working on, then you won't buy it as a consumer.
Yeah, that's totally the idea. I got the opposite from the result I wanted, and I think that's really uncool because now I look at back at Jade, and the only reason why I continue making the game is because we're now a studio. We hope like commercializing it. We have another game on the way, and it's really all about doing it for the community and not for myself.
Oh, definitely. So, tell me, how did you go about promoting the game, and what worked well and what didn't work so well?
Well, I never really promoted the game, mostly because I tend to think that promoting and advertising are kind of the same thing, even if they're not really the same thing. But advertising is a way to promote. Promoting isn't only about advertising. No, I think that the method that works the best is words by mouth, by mouth.
Oh yeah, word of mouth. Oh yes.
And you just let things flow, and people talk about it, and then other people come, and that works, and it worked for Jade apparently.
Mm, okay. Yeah, I think word of mouth, if done good, and you've got the whole processes working
Yeah,
based on research and such, then it can be quite powerful,
yeah,
quite
and
powerful
it just
indeed.
flows like that, and you let it flow, and
Oh yeah, you just gotta get it started.
yeah.
So, speaking of started, how is it you went about funding the game?
Well, at the first time we tried to make a Kickstarter, which was a really bad idea, because at the second day we were like, "What have we done?" And it was a really huge mistake. Mostly
Hmm.
because this is a game based on stuff that on free assets and all, and because well we didn't really need the fund, but now we realize that we need them. We need them to get artworks done. We need them to well we paid the fee, which was quite high, the streaming light fee. Uh, But yeah, so we just took the money out of our own pocket, and that's how it's gonna work, I think.
Okay, okay, I understand that. Savings is the way to go. How an economy grows.
Yeah.
So, how did you go about getting feedback for the game and QAing the game?
Well, that's something I did like really late in the game development. Um, I got testers from GameJolt because GameJolt is like a huge community with lots of really nice people. I think it's a really nice community. And so I just went like, who want to test the game? Because each time I published the game, I realized there were lots of mistakes. And when you publish a game that's not finished, well, people download it and have a bad idea of the project. So I just got testers from GameJolt, and it worked. But then I stopped because I wasn't updating the game really often. It just got bored, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So people just got bored with the game. That's quite unfortunate.
Yeah, of the game, or just don't want to wait for another version. I'm a really lazy person, and version can take really like a while to come.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. So tell me then, what was cut from the game and why?
Um, well, a huge part of the game, because in early 2015, I'd got some what I could clarify from family issues, and so I was alone at home for like well, quite a while. And the worst thing is that visual novel is a story, and you can really like write a story when you don't have the same ideas at the beginning, like when you're not in the same state as the game should be. So I wrote a whole script, and finally I uploaded it. It was like on a January night, and immediately I took it down because well, that was a mistake too, and so I don't think anyone downloaded the game when the script was there, but yeah, that was a huge part of the game that we got.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's quite significant.
Yeah.
So, what was the biggest thing you learned while working on the game?
um, well, I say that you have to hire a proofreader when English is not your native language, um, and you got to test your game because we had like quite some golden moments, if I can call that. Like we had for 1 week we had like something was 1,000 views a day with 400 plays a day, and
Mm-hmm.
by the time I published some other version that were totally buggy, and so the more people downloaded it, the more people got a bad impression of what the game was just because the new version was buggy and I didn't got it test.
Wow, so the updates really was a disadvantage.
Well, yeah, updating the games was really a disadvantage in most of the case because it was kind of like a update that brought nothing to the game, and when it brought something to the game, it was quite buggy, and it was a total disaster in most of the case.
Mm. Oh, I see. Quite unfortunate then.
Yeah.
All right then. So, what was the worst thing that happened, and how did you overcome it?
Uh, well, there were lots of stuff that happened, really bad points on most. Um, I think I'm torn between the Steam green light and the choice of the engine, but I'm gonna go with the choice of the engine because at very first when I developed the game, I didn't know anything about how to develop a visual novel. So I got like on the internet search for things. There were RenP, but I couldn't really use RenP because I didn't want to learn how to use it. And so I found Novelty, which was a great engine, really user friendly interface. And so I made the game with it, and then I realized I had to change because it's a good engine, but it wasn't going to make the game grow up. And then I chose an engine that's called Tyranno Builder, and it was really that was the worst thing that happened to the game. Mostly because the game is still running on Tyranno Builder, and it's the, the most pointless engine I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not worth buying when you can get Novelty for free, and also we're making the game well, for the third time on RenP this time, and this will be the final version on RenP.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So, what was the best game dev purchase you made? whether it was a software license or a top quality piece of hardware or equipment, or simply a comfortable chair, a good desk, or a second monitor.
Well, I already have the second monitor, but is that just about the game or as a whole?
As a whole, in the
Ev-
whole process, it might have been the engine you bought, a novelty,
yeah.
or something of the sort.
Well, I think my best purchase for as like a whole, and that will work for every game I'm gonna make, is first the Adobe suite,
Hmm.
Adobe suite. Um,
Oh, Adobe.
the creative one, which has Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, and all the stuff, and it's really helpful when you make a game because it's really powerful. And I would say I bought a Wacom tablet, which is really great, but it's really hard to get used to it. So I don't think it's for now a really great purchase, but I think it's gonna be really useful.
Hmm. Hmm. That's understandable. Wacom tablets are always very useful.
Yeah.
So, what game development related book, lecture, or learning resource can you recommend?
Uh, well, I would say your channel, but really, YouTube channels help a lot because
Hmm.
when I'm learning Grand P right now, and it's quite hard. Grand P got a cookbook, really, and it's like full of tutorials. But sometimes it's like some things that are special, and even if you can't always find the answer on internet, well, sometimes there is the answer, and I think YouTube helps a lot with the tutorials. Um, I had a book that was like how to give depth to your story. I don't know if that's I don't know the name in English.
Oh, well, at least give it in French.
It's like donner de la profondeur à vos personnages.
Hmm.
Uh,
Good start.
that means developing your characters and making them like books characters, because that's something that people they don't like. They say like consistency is the key. You gotta ask question about the development of your character, and I never did that, so I think I just bought things.
I get you. Okay. Hmm. So, like an Evernote or a Trello, do you have a useful or productivity enhancing software, app, or website worth sharing?
Well, I think that a good old notebook, not a book, yeah, is better than everything, because at least you're sure it's not gonna like blow up, or I don't know, and you can do sketch right at the same time. And even if I really like Trello, it's kind of like you can just sketch something while you're writing. Maybe even if I type faster on a PC, I prefer writing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I get you. So, Alexi,
Yeah.
what advice can you give to aspiring game developers, small indie studios, and people trying to get to where you are today?
Uh, well, that's something many people argued with me at this point, because that's an advice I always think it's good. It's too much ambition kills your project, because
Mm.
that's what killed most of my project. I wanted stuff like big and all, with full of things that I wasn't able to accomplish, and so at last you get just disappointed, and disappointed on yourself, and you don't want to keep it up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So, uh, what is next for you, Alexi, and what's the best way to contact you?
Well, right now I'm working without the studio on another title, an individual novel, which I'm really looking forward, because this one will not be like Jade. Like, it's really from the bottom of my heart, and not from for the community. And yeah, And the way to contact me, well, I never check the social medias, and I think you can contact me on GameJoel with my account name, my username YouMadBroom, or on Gmail on bourdilla.alexis@gmail.com.
Okay. So, Alexis, it appears that we're out of time for this episode of the Daily Dev Talk. Some real good stuff here you mentioned, like going from a lawyer to a game developer, and the over-ambition can kill a project.
Yeah, that's quite great.
Well, it was great talking to you. I wish you well in future endeavours.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much. So stay tuned, Overload Nation. More episodes of the Daily Dev Talk to come. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Daily Dev Talk with me, Adrian Nantchev. If you are a game developer that wants to get your name and game out there and to share your experiences and stories, or you have feedback or opinions of the show, then contact me at info@gameoverload.co.uk. That's info@gameoverload.co.uk. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode. More to come.